Good morning, class. Open up to page number 46, Mauryan Empire. Now today till yesterday we learnt about the extent of Ashok's empire. Now today we are going to learn about the Mauryan administration and the divisions of the Mauryan administration. First of all, we will look into the pan-Indian character of the Mauryan administration. Now, an empire, let us see what does the term pan-Indian character means. Please note it down in your books. An empire with pan-Indian character would have a culture and characteristic drawn from all the regions of India. Now, let us see. The Mauryan Empire, beginning with Chandragupta Maurya, was vast with an all-India character. Seleucus, whom Chandragupta defeated in war, had handed him 4 provinces of Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Baluchistan. This we have already done. These remained with the Mauryan Empire right up to the end of Ashok's rule. During Bindusar's rule, Ashok reached Takshila and ended the revolt there. After Bindusar had established his rule over South India, no other king ever ruled over the whole of India. The fact that Chandragupta Maurya spent his last years at Shravan-Belgola in Karnataka speaks volumes about all India character of the Mauryan Empire. Now, mark this as important. The chief advantages of the pan-Indian character of his empire were the following. Underline, it marked the end of small states. One huge kingdom was established. It helped in establishing trade links with foreign countries because it was a huge kingdom. They had the power, they had the means. So they established trade links with other countries. It made India strong and helped the Mauryan kings face foreign aggressions successfully. So any kind of foreign attack, they were able to handle it successfully. After Ashok's victory over Kaling, the era of conquest and wars was over. For whom? Only for the Mauryan kings. It helped the Mauryan kings to pay more attention to social and economic life of the people. So, to concentrate more on the welfare of the people. Hence, there was an all-round economic prosperity. A country which is not involved or embroiled in wars within or outside the region, then they are bound to prosper. Now let us see the administration. Underline, it was Chandragupta Maurya under the guidance of Chanakya who laid the foundation of an elaborate system of administration. Chanakya wrote a book, Arthashastra, in which he describes the principles of politics and the art of administration. Chandragupta's son Bindusar retained the same system and Ashok made some minor changes necessitated by the change of heart after the Kaling war. So, Mauryan administration had 2 main divisions, civil administration and military administration. So, first we will look at civil administration. The civil administration had 2 main divisions, the central government and the provincial government. Now, let us see the central government. The Mauryan government was centralized and was managed by several officers of different ranks. Underline, the king was the supreme authority and his throne was hereditary. That his successors only could succeed to the throne. Nobody else could lay a claim to the throne. He was also the supreme judge. As he was the highest authority or the supreme authority, so he was also the supreme judge. Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, in his book Indica and Chanakya in the Arthashastra, tell us about the Mauryan administration. So these are the 2 sources from which we get to know about the Mauryan administration. Ashok brought about some changes in the administrative system of Chandragupta Maurya. He appointed Mahamatras or governors, underline all this children, to look after the welfare of his subjects. So whatever you see underlined, please keep on underlining. At the central level, the king was assisted by the council of ministers. This is the central government we are talking about. named as Mantri Parishad, headed by the Prime Minister. Each minister was responsible for his department. Though headed by the Prime Minister, but the supreme authority was the king. The Council of Ministers included the chief pujari of the state called Purohit, Senapati who advised the king on matters related to war and peace, the head treasurer called Sanidhat, and Samahart, the taxation expert. The other important officers were Accountant General, one in charge of agriculture, Superintendent of Mines, Superintendent of Ports, Controller of Commerce, as well as the Superintendent of Weights and Measures. So it was quite an extensive government, and the Mauryan kings, they had an eye on the welfare of the people, and they knew. You can say that Chanakya was the one who was responsible for looking into the different aspects of human life or our kingdom, and he did it beautifully. No aspect of the government or the kingdom was left out, and all departments were looked into thoroughly. Now, provincial government. Now, what has happened? The main kingdom or the central kingdom was divided into 5 different provinces. Ashok made alterations only in the central government and not in the provincial government. This is very important. During his grandfather's time, there were 4 provinces, and after the addition of Kaling in Ashok's time, there were 5 provinces as shown below. Magad, with the capital as Patliputra, Gandhar, capital at Takshila, Avanti, the eastern province, capital as Ujjain as capital, southern province, Swaranagiri as capital, Kalinga, Toshali as capital. Now, head of the province was called Kumar or Aryaputra. Underline that. Only the princes were appointed to this position, boys from the royal family. During Ashok's time, the Kumar was assisted by the governor, who was known as Mahamatra. According to some rock and pillar edicts of Ashok, besides the Mahamatra, other officers took active part in the administration of the provinces. So the authority had to be divided, or the responsibility of running the government soundly was distributed. Now let us see how. Pradeshika collected taxes. Rajuka performed the functions of modern day Tehsildar or revenue officer. The Yukta was the treasurer. Now the district administration. The provinces were divided into districts called Janpads. Their administration was looked after by Pradeshika, Rajuka and Yukta. Now administration of cities. Important cities, the capitals of provinces, as given earlier, had their own administrative system. So in present day India, the way we have municipal committees, therefore administration of cities was also looked into during the Mauryan time. The head of the city was called Nagar Adhyaksh. According to Megasthenes, the administration of Patliputra, the capital city of the Mauryan Empire, was looked after by a committee of 30 members. See how serious they were about the administration of their kingdom. Now the revenue system. The land revenue was the chief source of income in the Mauryan Empire. It was 1/6 to 1/4 of the produce. Underline that. Now underline 2 kinds of taxes, namely Bali and Bhag, are mentioned in the edicts of Ashok. Bhag was levied on agricultural produce and the cattle at the rate of 1/6. Whatever your production was, you have to pay 1/6 of the taxes. According to Vincent Smith and Shama Shastri, Bali was a religious tribute. Toll tax was imposed on articles which were brought for sale. So you know, we have already talked about how trade was carried on with different countries of the world. Taxes were levied on liquor shops and gambling houses. See what is happening now? They were doing it in 300 BC. From the revenue collected, some taxes were collected from forest and mine also. From the revenue collected, the state provided various facilities like roads, irrigation, hospitals, and met other expenses of the state. So, how comprehensive they were in managing the kingdom or the administration of the kingdom. The spy system. Now, spy system, secret agents who look after that the security of the kingdom is not threatened. Chandragupta Maurya had a wide network of spies in his empire. So, if somebody was not happy and they were planning to dethrone the king or to somehow harm the kingdom in some way or the other, so these spies came in handy and they supplied the king with all the information needed. There were spies against the spies, and on important matters more than one agent was asked to collect information. So the king did not rely on being informed by just one person. He wanted the information to come from different sources so that he can know the entire truth. And these spies did not know, see, who the other spy was. So this was quite effective. The king was always kept informed of the working of the bureaucracy, that is the government. Now, military administration. Chandragupta Maurya maintained a huge army consisting of infantry, cavalry, elephants and chariots. According to Megasthenes, the Mauryan army consisted of 600,000 infantry, 30,000 cavalry and 9,000 war elephants. According to another source, the Mauryas maintained 8,000 chariots. The chief weapons used were bows, arrows, shields, swords, etc. The king was the commander-in-chief of the army. The whole army was under a military commission of 30 members. So it is quite extensive the way they administered the country. The Mauryas also had a well-laid recruitment policy. Recruitment is selection of or appointment of soldiers. Over here, recruitment is appointment of soldiers to the army. The soldiers were paid salary in cash. The Mauryan king had built forts at strategic places for safety and security of the empire. Strategic is important. Now in this video we'll end here only, and in the next video we'll start with Ashok's Dhamma, which are a common code of conduct.